guys, and welcome to another episode of the Balkan bush trip here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today we are going to be doing leg number 2 from Otto-Catch down to Zemunik. So first leg was 21 minutes and 44 miles. This leg is going to be 57 miles, 27 minutes in our lovely Cessna 172 Skyhawk. Now be sure to check out my channel description as I now have my system specs and we are flying with a Thrustmaster USB joystick. So we'll go ahead and click continue and load in, and we'll do a quick briefing of what on earth it is we're meant to be doing today. And also, clearly our route on the first leg was quite correct, because we did actually head all the way down there. Because remember, leg number 1, it went pretty well. We ended up at the correct airport. However, we did take a slightly dodgy route to be getting there, so who knows, honestly. But we're heading out down from Rijeka, through Croatia, and finally ending up in Greece. At Santorini Airport. So it's a number of, I think it's 16 legs. This is leg number 2, episode number 2 of this series. Just waiting for this to boot up. Here we are. Didn't take too long to load actually. It's a grass field, remember this, so you know. And let's have a quick look at our routes today. And for some reason my VFR map always loads in on my second monitor in totally the wrong place and I can't move it anywhere. It's really stupid. Don't know who thought of that. There we go. Get rid of that. You can actually see what our course is meant to be on the VFR map, which is quite funny. Well, you are allowed to use the VFR map. You're not allowed to use the back on track feature, but you are allowed to use the map itself. But anyway, let's leave that alone. Also, weirdly, look, it displays there. Look, point of interest on our FMC. That's kind of interesting. Anyway, we'll leave that alone. I should be able to press CDI. And change its mode. We'll put it on GPS. That means I can see where I'm going. That's kind of cool. Was that the parking brake? Release. Set. Release. There we go. I want to get the yoke. No, I want to get the yoke back. Uh-oh. What have I done to the yoke? Well, I have to reload now. There it is. Oops. Anyway, we'll just check our fuel load quickly, make sure we have enough. You can see that we have plenty of fuel, that's absolutely perfect. So, once you're in the air above Otto-Catch, I assume that's how it's pronounced, continue southeast along State Road 50. So currently we're facing the opposite of southeast. And then you'll head over the Gaka River before reaching a fork in the road. Follow the southern branch as the road passes into the hills and past an expansive mining operation. You'll soon cross paths with the A1 motorway. Follow the highway to an interchange a short distance south near the village of Konjsko Brdo. Again, excuse my pronunciations. As you follow the road to the south, it will begin to curve. Let it take you past a forest to the bridge over the Jadova River, then follow southeast. Okay, so that's the first sort of brief of what on earth we're doing here. We have 7 legs. We're flying down to Zadar today, apparently. Zadar Airport. So that's great. So let's go ahead and start. So estimated flying time 28 minutes. I don't know how good that's going to be really, but anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and check the trim. Make sure it's a little bit above. There we go. There for takeoff, and I don't know why I said it like that actually. And initial power. Full power. Away we go. I have actually got, I've mapped a button to the smart camera on my joystick now. You guys might have seen the last video. Right, obviously we're on grass, so this thing seems to be taking a bit of time to get up to speed. Trying to maintain on this runway. Propeller aircraft, of course, pulled to the right. What on earth? Okay, something's gone wrong with my controls. I'm pulling fully right on the stick, right, on the rudder. Full right on the rudder, and it's going this way. What on earth? Yeah, okay, that's slightly strange. I pulled full right on that rudder, and it went straight on. That's not good. That ain't good. I'm not sure how that happened. I'll check the controls. They look all good at the moment. That worries me a lot. Okay, right, let's try departing again. Initial power. And depart. I left the parking brakes on. Right, now, rudder full right. Hopefully it actually works this time, yes? Is it the wind? I mean, there's not really any wind, is there? This thing does pull aggressively to the left on takeoff because it's a propeller aircraft. Right, airspeed's live. Okay, this time, it seems as if the rudder is working. I don't know why we're turning so violently to the left. Really, once you get to about 60 knots, that effect should wear off. Anyway, in the air we go. I have no idea what that first attempt was about then, but never mind. Right, out we go. Continue southeast, although we're currently facing northwest, so I'm going to turn to the right as we climb upwards. Continue turning around the right. Southeast along State Road D50. Pass the Gaka River as the road passes into the hills and past an expansive mining operation. Okay, so we're turning southeast now. We're now southeast. So we'll go ahead and level off the plane here. And we'll trim it out a little bit. So I can just let go of the stick and we'll all be good. So we're now heading southeast, and we're going to basically so we want to pass over the Gaka River, which is the river, I believe that's State Road D50, somewhere over here. Give it a little twist to the right, go ahead and power back just a touch. So there you go, we're now heading upwards, climbing quite nicely. We've got to about 3,000 feet, I think. Now, southeast of the airfield. Where's the airfield? It's impossible to see, honestly, because it's just grass. There it is. So it'll probably be this road here. That's exactly southeast of the airfield, and you can see there is the bridge that takes us over the Gaka River. So that makes sense. We'll go ahead and turn ourselves slightly to the right then. Go ahead and start our stopwatch now for about 2 minutes, because we have, of course, already been in the air a little bit of time. So we've got to take that all into account. But there we go. We are now climbing quite nicely. Takes us through hills. This one just climbed quite gently, really. At the moment, this plane is taking us slightly high on the climb. So there is State Road D50. We're going to cross the Gaka River. Can this stop happening? Can that stop popping up now? Go away. I've got tips turned off. It must be. I don't know. When I'm in scenario mode, it's like these individual modes. It's a bit different. So soon you'll cross paths with the A1 motorway. So there's the A1 motorway. Follow the southern branch of the road. So we want to follow this bit of the road here. Follow the southern branch as the road passes into the hills and past an extensive mining operation. You'll soon cross paths with the A1 motorway. Follow the highway to an interchange a short distance south. So we want to go ahead and skip over to the highway now. So there's our A1 highway. We struggled to find that earlier, but last time, but we'll be able to find it properly this time. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out on our thing here. We might be able to see our landing airport, which is LDZD. It's quite far away. No, we can't because it's too far away at the moment. So we'll just go down to 10 nautical mile range. We basically want to follow this A1 all the way down. So we'll go ahead and reset that and start again. And so we need to follow a short distance south. So we need to follow the highway to an interchange a short distance south near the village. So we're looking for a village. There's the highway. Look, it crosses under a bridge. So it says here, as you follow the road to the south, it will begin to curve and bend towards the east. Let it take you past a forest. So we just want to keep following it, basically. And after that, as you follow the road to the south, it will begin to curve and bend towards the east. Let it take you past a forest to a bridge near the Jadova River, then farther southeast. After a while following the road, you'll find yourself passing over a rest stop at odd distance here. Carry on heading southeast. Okay, so by the looks of it then, we're mostly just following this road all the way down. So it might be a bit of a relaxing flight, this, I hope. Don't let me jinx it now. I'm going to pitch down a little bit because we are climbing a little bit too much for my liking. So we'll just bring it down a bit now. and we just want to follow this road along. So you can see there is an interchange, but there, so we want to get rid of number 1. Number 2 can also go now. Number 3, as you follow the road to the south, yep, it starts to turn south. It'll begin to curve and bend towards the east. We're going to get rid of the stopwatch now and start it again. So 3 minutes 45 approximately. Let it take you past a forest to a bridge over the Jadova River. I don't see a river on that map, but it might be there somewhere. Then farther southeast. So right now we're expecting it to follow south and then southeast, although apparently bend towards the east as well. So we just want to follow this along. I think this is the forest in question. We're looking. There should be a town back there. I don't see a town anywhere back there. I wonder, are we following the right road? We are, right? I'm not messing this up. I think we are following the right road. I don't think we quite... Oh, never mind. We are actually heading to a new point of interest. You can see here we can actually follow the points of interest on here. Just in case you're wondering. But we're actually doing pretty good. I've trimmed the aircraft pretty well. So that we're basically pretty steady at this altitude now. So we'll just keep heading along at this straight direction. So as you follow the road to the south, begins to curve and bend towards the east, apparently. However, I don't actually see any of that. Let it take you past a forest to a bridge. So you can see this is the forest in question, I think. So we should see a bridge over a river at some point. Worries me that we're not seeing that just yet. What if I zoom out? Can we see the river in question? Yes, I think that's maybe the river in question. Dunno. We'll keep following this road along for now. It's the only main road for ages, so it's clearly the right one. So as you follow to the south, it'll begin to curve and bend towards the east. Yeah, so we're looking for a bridge now over the Jadova River. In fact, I think I see the bridge. A short while after following the road, you'll find yourself passing over a rest stop. Carry on heading southeast. Start gaining altitude as you head along the road. You'll come to pass with 2 highway interchanges before the road disappears into Sveti Rock Tunnel. Adjust and turn southwest before heading up and over the mountainside. So we have got to climb just a little bit by the looks of it. So yeah, point of interest number 3 is the Jadova River Bridge. So we're looking for the bridge, which I think may just be... that's not the bridge, is it? That's... so apparently we're getting quite close to this point of interest. I don't think that's the bridge, is it? No. I thought it might be. It may be. However, I can't really see any... Is that water? I don't think it is. I mean, that looks like a road to me. Oh, I'm in a bit of trouble with the trim here. It's being a little bit strange. So you can see this is the road look. I don't think we're actually that close, but I think we're still quite far away from the... I think I'm skipping ahead too much, you know. There's an interchange there, look. So I think maybe that's what I'm doing here. I'm skipping ahead too much, maybe. Apparently it's 10 past 5 local time, according to the time thing. Interesting. So I think I may be skipping ahead too much, you know. Because that isn't... I don't know. I think this may be the forest here, you know. Because I am following... Yeah, look, 7.4 miles. I think that was actually point of interest 2 still. I'm skipping ahead too much. I need to count. I'm doing it based on time, which isn't accurate enough, maybe. Maybe I should do it on distance. Possibly. Maybe I should switch to doing that. You can see there is actually a forest now. So we'll go ahead and restart the clock again. I think that was point of interest 2, you know, because I'm looking at it on the map here, look. It's quite cool, really. You can sort of follow it on the map in a way, which is quite nice. I'm having trouble trim this thing, honestly. The amount I've trimmed it down on this flight, and it keeps just pointing forward. It's mad. I don't know why. It's very in the mood to just pitch up today, this plane. So the trim's a bit weird in this game. It's very up and down. Even when I've let go of the yoke, and this thing still manages to make up what it wants to do. But yeah, right now I'm pretty happy really with how we're doing. So we're looking for... Yeah, I think this is the forest. Look, this is definitely the forest. So we just want to keep heading. You can see, yeah, the road turns south now. And there's the bend east, look, so you can see I'm clearly following it. I'm slightly ahead of myself, clearly. So right now, just heading quite nicely along. I'm really enjoying this, and I do really, really like this, this sort of, this way of flying. I think I've finally got the hang of the trim. It's mildly climbing, however, we do want to climb to get above those mountains up there, so, I will let it climb just a touch. As long as we can keep the airspeed nice and steady, I'm okay, really. But right now, just doing a pretty good job of just sort of just kind of sticking with the road. So we can go outside, look, you can see there's our road. That's the river up there, look, quite clearly. You can see it on our map, look, so you can see I was just basically ahead of myself. I think that's what happened to me last time. I don't count the... I actually forgot, I didn't see that last time, but you can actually see there's a distance to the next point of interest, which is quite handy. So I think that's kind of what I was doing. I was kind of not really doing it properly. You can see right now we're at very steady 3,500 very steady 3,500 feet, getting a very nice 35, 40 FPS here. Over in this nice cinema on medium, and of course while recording, which does dock at least about 5 FPS from my experiments with this game, so pretty decent really. It's like, okay, there's a bit of stuttering, I must be loading in something new, I think. You can see we're just basically following the road now. This is where the road starts to curve to the east, and you can see, look, this is where the road starts to turn to the east, and this is the river. So finally, as you can see, I was just ahead of myself. This is the Jadova River here. Clearly, that's point of interest number 3. So point of interest number 4 is next. So we need to follow the road, and we'll find ourselves passing over a rest stop at Odmarist-Zia. Carry on heading southeast. So for now, it's kind of bad, really. I mean, we are basically just following this road. We can't follow it all the way because it goes quite high up. So you can see there is, I think we'll abandon the stopwatch now. I think we'll do it based on miles now, because we can see our distance to the next point using that. It's a much more reliable thing than using a clock. It's not even accurate. It wasn't on 3 minutes 45 by here anyway, because obviously it's based on what speed we're doing, really. That's the one problem by using a clock to navigate around. You can see there's the river, there it is crossing. So after a short while, we just need to keep following the road, really. After that, we need to start gaining altitude along the road. You will come to pass 2 highway interchanges before the road disappears into the Sveti Rock Tunnel. Adjust and turn southwest before heading up and over the mountainside. Once you've crested the Velebit Peak, find the road again as it leads towards a bridge and over the strait, Novsko Zdrilo. Seriously, don't quote my, don't take my pronunciations literally. Don't be offended by them. I know they're pretty rubbish. You can see there you go. Point of interest 4 is now up on here, which is our service station. So we're just going to continue following the road along now until we find this service station, and then we keep following the road. So it's pretty mad, really. I mean, this entire trip is basically just following the road along. It's basically all we're doing on this particular bush trip, rather than the last one we did. Leg number 1 was a bit more difficult, definitely. But I'm loving this. I mean, I'm hoping they add more bush trips as this game goes through its cycle. Obviously, they're going to be updating it every now and then, and as they update it, I do hope that things like more bush trips will become a thing, because it's absolutely amazing. I'm a massive fan of this game, and it's this game is really amazing, really, when it comes to this kind of thing. So we're looking pretty good. Why is the VFR map? It keeps popping up everywhere. It's silly. There we go. It keeps popping up on my second monitor and everywhere. I don't know why. It does actually limit FPS as well. Now I've turned it off. I've gone up to 38 FPS. Because weirdly, it does turn out that it's a killer of FPS. The VFR map, definitely. It does seem to limit a good few. But there we go. But we're going to keep heading straight along. We're still 5 miles away from the service station, according to our GPS. I believe that's the rest stop there. And we'll just keep following the road southeast. and then we need to start gaining altitude after we pass it as well, because we are going to start heading over these mountains, and we're going to have to veer away from the road briefly because of the high terrain in the area. So we're going to start to pitch the plane up just a touch using the trim. I was saying that I am tempted just to do it manually, because I've got this plane trimmed like absolutely perfectly. I've never had a plane trimmed perfectly before, so I am tempted. It's normally quite difficult, because apparently in real life, obviously I've never really flown a plane, but in real life, apparently, you know, some pilots on YouTube, they say, like, you know, it's a lot easier to trim in real life because the yoke has force feedback. Now obviously a joystick, there is no current yoke or joystick on the market that can simulate that, unlike racing wheels, which have it built in. Most racing wheels do. This, sadly, you know, you don't have a force feedback on a yoke or a joystick in a sim. We're currently staying on the correct course, just following the road all the way along. We can see a few cars down there. Look, there's our rest stop in question. As we get closer and closer to our destination airport, looks very nice down there. I'm getting a very, very nice 39 and 40 FPS right now. My FPS is probably solid between 35 and 40 right now in this area. It was more like 30 back there, but it's improved a little bit now. So that's quite nice. So it's not the fastest to plane. There's roughly 106 knots right now. We're cruising out. Obviously, I have pitched back the plane a little bit. We're running 95% throttle actually, so it's not haven't pitched it back that much on the throttle. But you can see there's our service station, look. So after we pass that, we're going to continue to follow the road, and it's going to turn this way, and then we've got to try and navigate around that peak, which will be a bit difficult. So we're going to try and find our way up that mountain. I'm just going to basically climb between now and then. If I set max power, this thing should actually climb on its own, hopefully, without me having to trim it. Although I might have to just trim it to just a touch, I think. It's a shame, since it's so perfectly trimmed. It's been very chill, really, this so far, this bush flight. I said leg 1 was a lot more intensive. But you can see, there we go, we're now passing point of interest 4. So next up is Sveti Rock. So start gaining altitude as you continue along the road. Come to pass 2 highway interchanges before the road disappears into the Sveti Rock tunnel. And we want to adjust and turn southwest before heading up and over the mountainside. So, go a bit more power. Only 5% more power. And we want to go ahead and trim it a little bit up. And this thing should start to climb at about, 500 FPM, something like that. This thing doesn't climb that quickly. I don't really know exactly how much I need to trim, exactly how much I need to climb particularly, but as we slow down, of course, as well, I will need to trim up more. Obviously, the speed and the throttle does make a difference on what you trim, which is kind of why the trim is a little bit up and down sometimes, but there we go. Up we go. And this is actually a 10-mile thing, so it will take us about 5 minutes just to get here. So the road is going to start, so we're going to pass 2 highway interchanges before the road disappears. So there's 1 interchange. I think these don't count as interchanges, these little bridge things, and we're basically looking for when it disappears into a tunnel. And when it does that, we have to basically disappear away from the road, sadly. This plane isn't quite as manoeuvrable as a it can't go quite as high as an airliner or something. We have to try and go around the hills if we can. It doesn't actually say what altitude it wants us to descend to. It would be nice if I had climb to. It would be nice if I knew what altitude Zadar was at, and I knew what altitude this peak was at. Sadly, I don't, and it isn't marked on the map anywhere. So that's kind of what I've got to deal with, really. But never mind. And so we're climbing pretty nicely at the moment. We're up to 4,000 feet. Need to trim it a bit more up, I think. Yeah, we'll just push it. We'll just force it up a little bit, and then the trim seems to take care of it then. We need to trim it a little bit more up. So we are losing a bit of speed here with this climb, but not too much speed. Trimmed it mildly too much there. We'll just, there we go. We'll just, as I said, the trim is a little bit up and down, really, once you get to know it. So I had it trimmed perfectly there, so I'm a bit cross about having to just abandon that. I think I can see the tunnel where it disappears. Once it disappears, apparently we need to head, we need to be heading southwest to go up and over the mountain. So there must be a dip on the southwest side then. I just had to climb it myself. This thing doesn't have an awful lot of power, sadly. So it is. We are losing a bit of speed, but never mind. I guess. Oh well. So we're up to 4,300 feet. I reckon these mountains are at about 5,000 feet, maybe something like that. So we should be good. And then after that, once we've crested the Velebit Peak, find the road again, as it leads towards a bridge over the strait, Novsko-Zrilo. And then from the bridge, the road will lead southwest along the shore of Novigradsko More. Continuing farther inland, you'll break away from the road toward an airport in the distance. So, amazingly, we're basically just following this road. If it wasn't for this hill, we could follow this road the entire route. We are breaking away slightly from the road because there's a little gap. There's some aero traffic over there, moving very quickly. I can't see a contrail or anything, but I'm guessing that's an airliner, maybe. Actually, maybe not. It's moving quite slowly now. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a multiplayer, obviously. Maybe AI's turned on. Who knows? I mean, it doesn't give you an option to configure anything like that in bush trips. You just literally just start the bush trip and that's it. So who knows? But we're doing a pretty steady climb here. We've managed to climb a few, a good 1,000 feet since we were cruising over the roads. We've done a very nice steady climb. You can see there is the road, and the road does, of course, you can see up ahead, bury itself into a tunnel. But there, look. So after that, we need to turn southwest, apparently. So we're going to turn slightly to the right and head southwest over the Velebit Peak. These are the Velebit Mountains, apparently. Don't know much about the geography of this area, but I will know a lot more about the geography of this area after completing this. Honestly, who says the simulator can't be educational? I guess that's kind of the point. I mean, it's not just educational about planes, though. It's education about map reading and geography. It's pretty amazing, really. I mean, like, this is like flight school. It's cool. Really cool. Anyway, so you can see there is where it disappears into a tunnel. So we're going to wait for this point of interest to be passed, and then we want to head off to our next point of interest then, which is one more away from the end. So we are approaching, slowly but surely, the end of this flight, and you can see we've basically climbed enough now so that we are actually above this peak, which is really nice. I might not even have to turn southwest. I might be able to get away with just following the road. Who knows? So you see, there's where it disappears into a tunnel, look. So once it disappears into a tunnel, that's very nice down there. Getting a very nice solid 40 FPS still. We're above the mountains as well, so that's really good. The game wants us to turn southwest, I guess, so I will do that on a heading of 237 apparently, according to the nav log. So we'll start our little turn now, and we'll sort of start to even off the trim a little bit now, as we have actually climbed enough. So we want to start heading round to the right now. We're going to start turning, because you can see we've now passed that point of interest. We're going to turn right now. We're going to head southwest. So we're sort of going to cut the road off a little bit, basically. And once over the Velebit Peak, find the road again. So we're going to turn to the southwest on heading of about 237, roughly. And keep climbing just a little bit, I think. And there we go, just level it off, and then we should get to the end of this peak. We're at a pretty suitable altitude, really. We need to wait until we're over this peak before we can start descending again. But right now we're just on a very nice little southwesterly course, so that's good. Honestly, if I didn't know about this GPS point of interest thing, though, like, it probably would have made my life a lot easier earlier on. But you can see it's very flat land over here, so we will have to descend, I think, after passing this peak. Otherwise, we'll be a bit too high for Zadar Airport. Because we aren't actually closing in on the airport, so it's been a pretty successful little flight, this, and I've really enjoyed it. I do really like these little bush trips. They're good fun. So I can't wait to do all of them, really, you know. The perfect thing to make videos about and just have fun doing. They're perfect. I was originally going to do them as a stream, but it's actually quite nice doing them as videos, one by one. They make quite good video content, really. So you can see, there we go, we're just over the straight now. We're basically going to head straight on to where this sort of almost little curve is in the road, and I'm going to start to turn left and follow the road once more. Basically, that's what we're going to do. I can also now start to push the plane down a little bit more again, so I'll go ahead and trim it down now, and we'll let this thing manage it itself. So you can see we're now over the Velebit Peak, which is absolutely great. And the road has come out over there by the looks of it. Is that the road? That is the road sort of horseshoe curve look. So we want to turn to the left now. Actually, no, we need to wait until a little bit straight on. We need to wait until we catch back up with the road. So we need to basically catch the road's path again. And then from there, we need to head southwest along the shore, continuing farther inland. We'll break away from the road toward an airport in the distance. So basically, we follow this road until we reach our airport. So we're going to start pitching down now to about 3,500 feet once more. Obviously, so that means that we're going to be in a suitable place once we actually do get close to this airport. It means we'll be a bit lower, ready to land, of course, which is what we want. Plane's starting to pitch down quite nicely now after I've finally, fine-trimmed it a little bit. Doing a very nice 200 FPM kind of descent right now. We'll aim for a pretty smooth landing, although who knows, honestly, with me in this plane, still learning the joystick. And this is the bridge in question. So that's the bridge that's our point of interest. So you can see we're just going to basically follow along this bit of road, and eventually we'll be able to see, in fact, there we go, ZD 768. I think that's probably a waypoint, a star or a approach waypoint for Zadar, because ZD is, what it shortens to often, it's the same LDZD, so its short code is just ZD on waypoints. So that kind of symbols to us that we are closing in on this airport. I could have done this one without the GPS, to be honest, unlike the other. Leg 1 was saved a bit by the GPS, but this one I've actually done a lot better. It's been a lot more simple, Leg 2, to be honest. Leg 2 has been so easy. I mean, all we've had to do in Leg 2 is basically just follow a motorway apart from a small little mountain. Hasn't really been very difficult, has it? But there we go. And it's only taken us just over half hour as well, so that's absolutely perfect. We've passed that point of interest now, so we want to just turn to the left and start following the road. Following the road southwest now, a little bit more. You can see there's the road further down there. Obviously, you don't have to just follow it exactly. We can just, we can take little shortcuts to save time. Obviously, it is handy we have the GPS, so we can follow the road on the GPS. And obviously the state roads don't show up on the GPS. It's only the motorways that show up on there, but it's pretty good. Also, even though I trimmed this thing down, it hasn't actually descended that much. Maybe I should have kept it a bit better out on it, I don't know. But there you go. Finally, it is now descending. We're still 10 miles out from the airport, so we've got a bit of time yet to descend. I'll just put it down to about 3,000 feet, roughly. So basically, we need to continue to follow this road until we get sight of the airport. In fact, that might be the airport. I think that's the airport there, look. That looks suspiciously like an airport to me. So I think we'll start to go ahead and aim ourselves towards that then. Because I believe that is our airport in question, so that's good. Obviously, this one doesn't have a grass runway, unlike the other one, so it is much easier to spot. A grass runway is very difficult to spot at times. really. But there we go. It's been a pretty successful little flight. This I've massively enjoyed it. I said, you know, I was kind of thinking, oh, this VFR, this bush flying would be like the VFR tours I've been doing, but with this lovely scenery and this lovely navlog that the game has put together, it's really nice. It's like doing it in real life. This is what you do in real life. You look at a map and you go, right, this, and this, and then you go out and finally we can do this in a sim. It looks so amazing from stock that you can just go out and do this without any add-ons. It's really amazing. Really, really amazing. Now we're only 8 miles away from the airport, so that's definitely the airport, isn't it? That looks about 8 miles away. It's not showing up on our GPS, despite the GPS having 10-mile range. Who knows? But yeah, that's definitely our airport in question, isn't it? So we'll just, well, we can leave the pitch. We can leave the trim as it is now. Mostly just going to hand fly it all the way now. Obviously, I've been hand flying this entire time. No need for autopilot with this. So does this thing even have an autopilot? I think it does. I think it does have some kind of basic autopilot. Yeah, it does there. Look, engage autopilot. So it does have a very basic autopilot. Oh, a bit of stutter in there. Now this game has been prone to crashing, I have seen. But however, the crashing is when you plug in peripherals. So I plugged in my joystick and the game crashed when I was about to record this video. So, piece of advice: do not plug in and out stuff. Actually, which runway is this thing? Oh, this place has got 2 runways. That's why. I'm guessing we can use, because there's that one there. Look, there's 2 runways, but I think we're going to use this one. It's the one that's closest to us at the moment. Zadar is obviously actually a pretty mainland airport, so kind of surprised it was featured on here. But yeah, this episode is definitely going to be called Following a Motorway. That's all we've done. You can see there is our airport. We'll just throttle back a little bit now, as we're only 5 miles away now, so we're going to start to pitch down properly now. Going to go flaps full for landing. And this thing will start to slow down. You can see we're just 5 miles out now. So this thing, now we put out in the flaps, look, this thing just starts to drop speed like crazy. So you can see there, we're going to go for this runway straight ahead. You can see we basically followed the road until we've had sight of the airport. And then we'll just land at the airport. We're going to make a little left turn actually to make sure we are on course with the airport nicely. Of course we can see it on our little GPS map as well, the little virtual runway, which is really cool. A little bit of stuttering as we're coming in here. It's obviously just loading some more scenery in the distance. Well, I think we are a little bit high. We'll go ahead and pitch it down a little bit now. I said I really, really like flying with this yoke. It's very, very nice. I've got used to it now. It hasn't really taken that long to get used to. It's very decent. Right, we'll go ahead and push this thing down, get it down to that runway. Just 3.5 miles to go. These flights do seem to take a little bit longer than the ETA says. However, maybe that's just me going a bit slowly. I don't know. I'm saying that. I mean, the throttle was on 95%, so I couldn't really have gone any quicker. Because you're not meant to max out the throttle on cruise. You're not really meant to. You can. But you're not totally meant to. I can't believe it's 5:30 local time, by the way. Like, how come it's not like sunrise, you know? It doesn't look like it's sunrise, really. Considering it was probably 5 AM when we took off. I wonder whether some of these flights will be in night time. Probably not. I mean, you know, nighttime VFR is a lot more difficult than daytime VFR. Well, I saying that, you can see all the lights, so maybe it's a bit easier, who knows. Because obviously roads do stand out more at night than in the day. But we'll go ahead and pitch ourselves down now. We are still slightly too high for my liking. Obviously we were quite high. In terms of cruising altitude, we were very high after crossing those mountains. And I wasn't really able to actually descend anymore. We'll go ahead and idle the power now. That should help us. Descend. And there you go. Now I'm happy with our descent path. Bring in a bit more power. Actually, we'll keep it idled. Obviously, you know, the way you land a Cessna, you basically just idle it and then let it drop out of the sky gently onto the runway. So the game doesn't seem to mind which runway we land on anyway, as long as we just stop on the runway. It's all good. There's no need to taxi or anything in this mode. The ATC doesn't work. But anyway, we'll go ahead and taxi ourselves. Not taxi ourselves, land ourselves on this lovely runway here in Zadar. Very long runway, so don't really need to worry about overshooting it a little bit. Also, we don't get. This isn't a landing challenge. We don't get graded on our landing, so we can afford to. I just want to basically be slow enough, you know, so I don't have to plant the plane down. It just sort of flops out of the sky on its own, like it should. Obviously, I've idled it, but I can't really do much more. So we'll go ahead and push it back, and there you go. You can see the speed dropping off now really nicely. And we'll just let plane drop down nicely. There we go. And this plane, of course, just why does it pull to the left so badly? And then the rudder doesn't work either. Like, the rudder just does not work at all. It's really dodgy. I think it's because of how the button is. It might not sense it sometimes. But there we go. We have now stopped. And there we go. 36 minutes, that says. So, in the end, we were a little bit over the top. There you go, 35 minutes flight time in the end. I really, really enjoyed that. Yeah, 35 minutes of flying. That was really, really good fun. I have to say, that was really nice. So, there we go. We'll head back to the bus trip menu now. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this quick video. Well, not quick, it's 40 minutes long. Some of these bus trip videos will get very, very long. However, I don't really want to leave any out. I want to, you know, obviously the thing is, this is why they make such good videos. They can make long videos, but you don't really have to edit or cut bits out because you kind of want to see all of it, don't you? And also, we've got 2 more bus trips to admire after this one. The next leg is going to be slightly shorter than leg 2. Leg 2 is, to be fair, actually some of the later ones are very long. That one there, 117 miles, that'll be a bit of a long video, won't it? It'll probably be getting on for an hour and 15-minute long video. But yeah, I mean, that was Zadar there. Next airport is going to be Castella. That's the airport in question. Have we got any more grass fields? Oh, okay, that one's a grass field. So we have a few more grass fields to be visited on this tour. Sadly, I'm not a massive fan of grass fields because you just can't really see them. But it doesn't look like there's too many grass fields, does it? There's a few. It's nice this game has grass fields in it, though. A lot of games don't even bother having that. Obviously, FSX has almost all the airports, and that has 24,000. This game has 37,000, so pretty impressive. And of course, we have one over in Nevada to be doing, in the Savage Cub. That one has slightly shorter legs. There's 25 legs, so that one's a bit longer, but the legs are a bit shorter. Well, the majority of them are. And then you have this one here, which is 14 legs, so a bit longer legs, this one. 165 miles, that's pretty long, and that's in the X Cub. So they're all in different aircraft. Obviously, I started off doing this one over in Europe, and then we've got one over in Patagonia and one in Nevada, and I'm hoping they will add some more as we go through the game cycle. But I hope you guys really enjoyed today's video. I will see you in the next one, and bye-bye!